of him, and we went also. Nor was I sorry to leave the place, for its death-like loneliness, enhanced strangely enough as it was by the flood of light that filled it, a loneliness which was concentrated and expressed in the awful figure stretched upon the bier, oppressed and overcame us, whose nerves were broken by all that we had undergone. Thankful enough was I when, having passed the transepts and down the length of the vast nave, we came to the iron doors, the rock passage and the other gates, which as before opened to let us through, and so at last into the sweet, cold air of the night at that hour which precedes the dawn. Oros led us to a house well built and furnished, where at his bidding, like men in a dream, we drank some liquor which he gave us. I think that drink was drugged, at least after swallowing it I remembered no more till I awoke to find myself lying on a bed and feeling wonderfully strong and well. This I thought strange, for a lamp burning in the room showed me that it was still dark and therefore that I could have rested but a little time. I tried to sleep again, but was not able, so fell to thinking till I grew weary of the task. For here thoughts would not help me. Nothing could help except the truth, that fearful thing, as the veiled priestess had called it. Oh, what if she should prove not the Ayesha whom we desired, but some fearful thing? What were the meaning of the Khania's hints and of her boldness, that surely had been inspired by the strength of a hidden knowledge? What if nay, it couldn't be. I would rise and dress my arm, or I would wake Leo and make him dress it. Anything to occupy my mind until the appointed hour, when we must learn the best or the worst. I sat up in the bed and saw a figure advancing towards me. It was Oros, who bore a lamp in his hand. "You have slept long, friend Holly," he said, "and now it is time to be up and doing." "Long?" I answered testily. "How can that be, when it is still dark?" "Because, friend, the dark is that of a new night. Many hours have gone by since you lay down upon this bed. Well, you were wise to rest you while you may, for who knows when you will sleep again. Come, let me bathe your arm." "Tell me," I broke in. "Nay, friend," he interrupted firmly, "I will tell you nothing, except that soon you must start to be present at the funeral of the Khan and, perchance, to learn the answers to your questions." 10 minutes later he led me to the eating chamber of the house, where I found Leo already dressed, for Oros had awakened him before he came to me, and bidden him to prepare himself. Oros told us that the Hesea had not suffered us to be disturbed until the night came again, since we had much to undergo that day. So presently we started. Once more we were led through the flame-lit hall till we came to the loop-shaped apse. The place was empty now, even the corpse of the Khan had gone, and no draped Oracle sat in the altar shrine, for its silver curtains were drawn and we saw that it was untenanted. "The Mother has departed to do honour to the dead, according to the ancient custom," Oros explained to us. Then we passed the altar, and behind the statue found a door in the rock wall of the apse, and beyond the door a passage and a hall as of a house, for out of it opened other doors leading to chambers. These, our guide told us, were the dwelling places of the Hesea and her maidens. He added that they ran to the side of the mountain and had windows that opened on to gardens and let in the light and air. In this hall 6 priests were waiting, each of whom carried a bundle of torches beneath his arm and held in his hands a lighted lamp. "Our road runs through the dark," said Oros, "though were it day we might climb the outer snows. But this at night it is dangerous to do." Then taking torches, he lit them at a lamp and gave one to each of us. Now our climb began. Up endless sloping galleries we went, hewn with inconceivable labour by the primeval fire worshippers from the living rock of the mountain. It seemed to me that they stretched for miles, and indeed this was so, since although the slope was always gentle, it took us more than an hour to climb them. At length we came to the foot of a great stair. "Rest a while here, my lord," Oros said, bowing to Leo with the reverence that he had shown him from the first, "for this stair is steep and long. Now we stand upon the mountain's topmost lip, and are about to climb that tall looped column which soars above." So we sat down in the vault like place and let the sharp draught of air rushing to and from the passages play upon us, for we were heated with journeying up those close galleries. As we sat thus I heard a roaring sound and asked Oros what it might be. He answered that we were very near to the crater of the volcano, and that what we heard through the thickness of the rock was the rushing of its everlasting fires. Then the ascent commenced. It was not dangerous, though very wearisome, for there were nearly 600 of those steps. The climb of the passages had reminded me of that of the gallery of the Great Pyramid drawn out for whole furlongs. That of the pillar was like the ascent of a cathedral spire, or rather of several spires piled one upon another. Resting from time to time we dragged ourselves up the steep steps, each of them quite a foot in height, till the pillar was climbed and only the loop remained. Up it we went also, Oros leading us, and glad was I that the stairway still ran within the substance of the rock, for I could feel the needle's mighty eye quiver in the rush of the winds which swept about its sides. At length we saw light before us, and in another 20 steps emerged upon a platform. As Leo, who went in front of me, walked from the stairway, I saw Oros and another priest seize him by the arms and call to him to ask what they were doing. "Nothing," he cried back, "except that this is a dizzy place and they feared lest I should fall. Mind how you come, Horace," and he stretched out his hand to me. Now I was clear of the tunnel, and I believe that had it not been for that hand I should have sunk to the rock floor, for the sight before me seemed to paralyse my brain. Nor was this to be wondered at, for I doubt whether the world can show such another. We stood upon the very apex of the loop, a flat space of rock about 80 yards in length by some 30 in breadth, with a star strewn sky above us. To the south, 20,000 feet or more below, stretched the dim plain of Kaloon, and to the east and west the snow-clad shoulders of the peak and the broad brown slope beneath. To the north was a different sight and one more awesome. There, right under us as it seemed, for the pillar bent inwards, lay the vast crater of the volcano, and in the centre of it a wide lake of fire that broke into bubbles and flowers of sudden flame or spouted, writhed and twisted like an angry sea. From the surface of this lake rose smoke and gases that took fire as they floated upwards, and mingling together formed a gigantic sheet of living light. Right opposite to us burned this sheet, and the flare of it passing through the needle eye of the pillar under us, sped away in one dazzling beam across the country of Kaloon, across the mountains beyond, till it was lost on the horizon. The wind blew from south to north, being sucked in towards the hot crater of the volcano, and its fierce breath that screamed through the eye of the pillar and against its rugged surface, bent the long crest of the sheet of flame as an ocean roller is bent over by the gale, and tore from it fragments of fire that floated away to leeward like the blown out sails of a burning ship. Had it not been for this strong and steady wind indeed, no creature could have lived upon the pillar, for the vapours would have poisoned him. But its unceasing blast drew these all away towards the north. For the same reason, in the thin air of that icy place, the heat was not too great to be endured. Appalled by that terrific spectacle, which seemed more appropriate to the terrors of the pit than to this earth of ours, and fearful lest the blast should whirl me like a dead leaf into the glowing gulf beneath, I fell on to my sound hand and my knees, shouting to Leo to do likewise, and looked about me. Now I observed lines of priests wrapped in great capes, kneeling upon the face of the rock and engaged apparently in prayer, but of Hes the mother, or of Atene, or of the corpse of the dead Khan I could see nothing. Whilst I wondered where they might be, Oros, upon whose nerves this dread scene appeared to have no effect, and some of our attendant priests surrounded us and led us onwards by